So we're still getting like stuff. Excellent, excellent. We're getting stuff. So once again, we're doing that thing that we do every week now, is where I pick my four favorites from ArtStation artworks. And this one is what did we name this? This is called something like fantastic. No, it was called weekly ArtStation masterpieces. And then you get the logo scroll. It's like ba ba da ba. All right. So this week we're starting with Sebastian von Buchwald. It's called Firmware Update. Looking pretty interesting. The colors, you get your typical purples, magentas, reds, and blues. But just look at this line art. There's so many details, and I like that. I like that a lot. We're getting here's the sketch, obviously, and then you see where it's going with line art. But it's just so much work. Look at that arm. Look at those sneakers. Oh my lord, look at that leg. It's just got the leg unplugged. I didn't even notice that because it is sort of hard to see, but it is very also. Once you go here, if you look at you start like, what is that? Oh, that's the leg. Oh, it's the wrong way around or something. But whoa, whoa, and then you go to the background. I was immediately looking at these cans here. They looking squishy, so looks like your best friend, the can of something. The can of something, right? You get the screen. Mainly, I'm just interested in the lighting. Well, I can't really say that because the details are unbelievably impressive, but what gets me is when you really look that from far away, is you get this massive glow on the lower section here, and your eye is drawn to that section, really. So it's mostly just highlighting the arm and the keypad and this thing. You got this green light, what you don't typically get in these sort of pictures. Sure, you have your 80s nostalgia goggles, so you get the reds, the magentas, you get the blues, and that sort of thing. But then you have this ominous green glow that is. It is reminiscent to this sort of. Here you can see the font or the text on the screen here, the monitor, the CRT, and you get that sort of green glowy text, and the green here is reminding me of that. I like that a lot. I also love the character, because look at the character. This is just, I don't remember seeing a lot of characters that look like this. She's reminding me of that dragon from Neverending Story. What's that called? Falcor? I can't believe I remember that. The tattoo is very sweet, really cool. It's just, there's a lot to like about this one. Very, very cool. Next up, second one, number 2. We got G. Zielinski. Zielinski? What was that? Something. And this is called Portrait. Simply Portrait. But it's a black and white piece. This might be I'm not sure. I'm not that good with colors. I'm a little bit colorblind, but to take anything I say with a grain of salt. Anything. This one, the contrast. Whoa, look at the contrast. Got the bright, super bright. Well, it's not that bright, but compared to the hair, this is just black. It's blackness, and I love that because I was making that Matrix piece. I was repainting a piece of Matrix, a frame of Matrix as a challenge, and yeah. In movies, you get that sort of contrast where you have not that bright of other sections of the frame, but then you have very, very dark sections, and you get a lot of sort of blackness, so that it lifts up the rest of the values in the frame. And yeah, this is not super bright. This is mostly, I think, like 50% gray, and then you got some of these highlights, like this white stuff here. But it's lifted up because the background is very dark, very, very dark, and then you got black hair. It's just framing the face, and it almost, if you've seen those, I'm just thinking about androids and those sort of things now because of the last piece. But if you've seen any of those where they sort of lift their faces off the body, so you're getting that sort of effect almost. Not really. I mean, it looks natural. It doesn't look like an android, but so the face is just, it pops out of the picture. It is very cool. The glasses are highlighted, which gives them very metallic look. But otherwise, it's very stylistically put together. If you look at these strands of hair there, we're very, very stylistic, and I like that. So because it's not like, it doesn't look natural. It gives the characters sort of an otherworldly quality. And it's almost like a mist surrounding this dark mist. It looks like one of those. I don't know where I remember this one, but it's some sort of oil monster type of thing. And this hatching here, where it's, you don't want to do your typical gradient where it's just fading to the background, but you have these awesome. This is just so nice. These are reminding me of printer lines when you used to do I don't know, dot matrix printers, but even inkjets, and you get these sort of lines going like this, and it is just a very interesting way to fade the character into the background a little bit more. So because if this was completely black, these sections here, if they were just black, then it would give the lower half of the picture too much gravity. So you don't want to leave it completely black. So you want this to be mainly black and this to be mainly not white, but the brightest part of the picture. And then you have the highlights here. So it's just guiding your eye. You're not looking down here because that's not black. It's guiding your eye to the black section in the middle, and then in the bright section in the middle of the black section. Again, the expression, I like the expression. You start to think like, what is the character thinking? What's the thought process here? Because it's not a smile, or it's kind of a smile. It's like a sarcastic smile almost. And the hatching is really nice. You get these, because like I said, I like doing that sort of ink hatching. But what I don't typically do is when I try to paint some sort of realistic looking portrait, I don't do that sort of ink hatching where you just do a lot of these sort of lines, because it doesn't look natural. But it doesn't have to, it's just very stylistically interesting looking. Nice one. Next up, okay, let's do this one. This is by Mayank Kumar. It's No Time to Die poster illustrations. We have here some Histories and Kind Men Who Play God. I don't know, is this a new James Bond? Because it's got the Daniel Craig, and it's got some people, but I don't. What do I know the movies? I'm the movie guy now. No. This is so insanely talented. It's very nicely put together because you have just a very limited palette. You have the red. You have the oranges or the pinks in the faces. You have a little bit of, it's almost green shade here. But that's about it. And the rest is just blacks and white. And you're trying to just draw everything out of the picture with that. The background is black and white, but it's toned down. Like, if you have black here, you have white here, right? You're just trying to pull the values together, so you try to make them as close together as possible, so to limit the contrast and not draw attention away from the things in the foreground, where you actually have white in the rim lighting and just black in the center mass. The faces are incredible. I admire people who can just render people's faces this accurately, because to me, if this wasn't, to me this looks like, and not in a bad way, but it looks like you took Daniel Craig's photograph and then you applied some sort of, there's no filter like this, but you add some sort of Photoshop filter or something to the face to make it look like this. But of course there's no filter like that. So it's just the person had to draw that. It is looking so nice, and I don't know whether there are no real liner notes here, so I don't know if this is some sort of actual project for an actual poster or something, or if it's more of a stylized version of the movie poster or something. I don't even know this movie. I have never heard of this movie, but No Time to Die looks very good. Insanely nice. Very well done. And one more thing. Look at the thing in the background, the cracks. So it's a bullet hole in glass, but it's dividing all these scenes to their own different sections. You get the cracks dividing this person here, and then you have these things here, but it's dividing the background into these scenes. And it's so brilliant. I have never seen that before, but what do I don't know that many things, so maybe it's very nice. It's very well put together. Number 4, we got Leo Adasso. Did this thing called Windmill. Again, no liner notes or anything. It's just getting the art. Just take that in. Fresh art. Here, I really like the background. The background, similarly to, I used to talk about this with my guitar students, is how you do a really nice guitar solo for a song. I enjoy a lot of Iron Maiden guitar solos and that sort of thing, especially the old ones, but they're all great. But how you do a really great guitar solo, something that really lifts you up, is you make a really good background for the guitar solo. If the background is great, then you can pretty much play anything you want and it will sound awesome. And that's the way that I want to approach this one, because the background is so bloody good that it's lifting up the thing in the middle of the piece that is also really interesting. It says it's windmill. So is that a windmill? There's this dude here, he's got some sort of gadget hanging there. Is that could be anything really, but the first thing I think of is camera. Maybe it's camera, maybe it's something else. And the design of the thing seems like this person, Leo, Mr. Dasso, has done these sort of designs a lot, because it is very intricate. It's not just your typical gadgetry thrown together. It's a lot of really interesting, like these sort of, I don't know what to call these, like turbines, something, and they're linked together by this metal thing here. And this whole section is very interesting looking. You got these little intricate details here that do not repeat anywhere, and this sort of thing here. So it's very much like unique designs here and there and put together. This thing here, this whole section here, this sort of, it's like carved out of a piece, and you got these sort of vent holes. Here you have a little bit of the same idea, but it's not really the same. So you have these design elements for this piece that repeat nowhere in the piece. So cool! And the camera, this is like a panoramic background, but it's panoramic to like vertically. So you're seeing way down below here. I think these are supposed to be cars or something, traffic. And you get these bridges, there's 1, 2, 3 bridges, and then you start to get these buildings on top of each other. And this building here is going all over the place. I love that. And the clouds, it is looking magnificent. Even the buildings, they all look different. Look at this building, compare it to this one with the mirror side. Compared to this one, compared to this little crooked, whatever you want to call that one. And here you got these sort of panels almost. This one has a couple of rows of windows that all look different. And this building reminds me of Naruto with the power lines and these sort of crooked little stairs and the windows and whatnot. It is very impressive. Typically when you have a design of this nature from somebody, you start to see repeating elements. you start to see a building repeat somewhere, or that they ran out of designs and they just started to let's make this building here, and okay, there needs to be a building here, so let's make it look kind of similar to the other one. Or we need to fill this part of the gadget with some sort of detail, so let's just make it look kind of like these ones here. But no, it's just nothing is repeating. It is insane. Got the pads. I haven't even talked about the character. Got this long coat, these grenades or something, these pads and the haircut. Ah, my lord! Can't stop gushing about this picture. Leo, great job. Alright, finally, let's do a bonus piece. This one called Japanese Cemetery by Maria Totonzido. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. Here, I was drawn to these side walls that look to me like cargo containers. I assume they're not, but originally I was thinking to myself, is this is an interesting design in the middle of some sort of port or something? But I assume it's stone walls of some description. But that's the vibe I'm getting. And then I started to look deeper in the thing. The lights very nicely framing the thing, like pulling your... I love this sort of composition, where everything is pulling your attention towards some certain central thing in the middle. And I'm mainly, when I'm looking at this from far away, I'm mainly concentrating, my focus is on the big gate thing. And the gate is, because it's interesting looking, it's got interesting lines and this sort of thing. And it's also contrasting very, very heavily with the bright light in the background. So this is a lot of black or very dark values with contrasting with the very, very bright things in the background. Whereas the sides here, this is like 50% gray. If you turn this into grayscale, it's like 50% gray. And the bright things are not that much brighter, and the dark things are not that much darker. It's just a lot of contrast, just dimmed down to very, very nearby values. But it's doing its job. It's making the whole picture look more lush, like it's in the middle of a jungle. And it's pulling your eyes towards the contrasty thing in the middle. These whole cargo container type looking things, they have a lot of contrast, but they're offering this sort of line that is going this way, and this whole gate thing is going this way. And your eye is always moving here until it stops in the middle of these two lights. And you start to look, like, okay, this is the gate, but what is there beyond the gate? And you see, it's almost like a teaser of the whole cemetery thing. And I like the idea that you frame the picture so that you're getting an experience of entering the place. You're sort of getting the entrance vibe, and you're feeling, when you're looking at the picture, you're feeling like you're going into that place. I almost feel like I don't need to go there now because I've seen the pictures. I've lived the experience, so I don't need to go there anymore. You know, I like these sort of brushes where you got this sort of leaf brush, but it's used so professionally that you don't get the sense that it's just one type of leaf. Maybe there are a couple of different types, but it is just very nicely put together with the shadow and then the brighter leaf layer. And it's also lending a lot of very saturated color to the piece. Because these greens, even these greens here, at the very border of the picture, they are contrasting a lot with the background because of the saturation. These are so green compared with a lot more grayer tone of the background, gray and blue. So these are still very blue green, but it's doing more out of the blue region and gray region and moving into the saturated greens. I like it a lot. Great job with all these pictures, everybody, and that's the artwork favorites. What was it called again? The something of the something ArtStation of the week, weekly thing. Blah, blah, blah.